What's up, guys? My name's Owen. I'm a golf performance coach here at P4S Golf, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about deadlifts. Now, two main things about deadlifts that we're going to talk about are one, why should you do them? Why do golfers care about doing deadlifts? How are they going to help us? How are they going to help our golf game? How are they going to help our swing, etc.? And then two, how should we be doing the deadlifts? We're going to go over how we should do them in a way that's going to be safe, that's going to keep us from getting injured. And then also, how do we do them in a way that's going to give us the most stimulus? How are we going to get the most bang for our buck, okay? So first thing first, why do we care about doing deadlifts, right? So the deadlift is a posterior chain builder, right? So we're going to use our hamstrings, our glutes, our low back muscles, our erectors, as well as our lats and our upper back, okay? These muscles that we're using in the deadlift are also going to be used heavily in our golf swing, okay? Now, especially the low back, that's a part of the body that's very commonly either fatigued, injured, it's aching, you're in pain. That's very common in golf, right? So say you might go to the driving range, you hit 2 large bucket of balls. The next day, you're tired, your back's sore. Now, if we can, do exercises like deadlifts or other hinge variations that are going to build up your lower back, that's going to be great for us because we might not feel as tired the next day. We might not be as sore. We're going to build up that work capacity. It's going to allow us to feel better the next day or while we're playing golf. If we take a look at the start position of a conventional deadlift, you'll notice that it looks exactly like the position that we're in right before we do a max vertical jump. Now, if you follow along with our content, look at our YouTube videos, look at our social media, you'll know that our vertical jump is a big predictor of how fast we can swing the club, right? Obviously, everybody wants to swing the club faster. If we're swinging faster, then we're going to hit the ball further, right? So if we can include deadlifts, we're going to have a stronger, healthier back, and then we're also going to be able to jump higher, produce more force quickly through our legs, through the floor, and that's going to transfer to our swing, allow us to swing faster, as well as hitting the ball further. So now that we've talked about why we care about doing deadlifts, why we should be doing them, we're going to actually go over how to do them, one, safely, and how to get the most stimulus out of them. Before we start doing deadlifts, we should have our mobility in check, as well as some other things. If you need more help with that, you can check out the link in the description and get an assessment set up. Now, moving on to actually doing the deadlifts. We're gonna go through everything from what kind of grip we use to everything that we're doing while we're actually performing the exercise, okay? So first things first, we're talking about stance, okay? So stance is really gonna come down to what's comfortable for you. So if you're taller, if you're a bigger person, it might be a little bit wider. And then someone like me who's a little bit shorter, he might have a little bit more of a closer stance, okay? But what I usually tell people when they first start out is to pretend that they're gonna do a max vertical jump. So you set up wherever you feel like your feet are comfortable. If you're gonna jump as high as you can, so for me, that's gonna be about right here. That's where I'm gonna set up for the deadlift. Reason being, if this is your stance that you're gonna use to jump as high as you can, this is the stance that you're gonna use to produce the most amount of force that you can through the floor, which is what you're doing during the deadlift, right? So I've got my stance, got the width set. Now we're gonna talk about how far away from the bar we are. Pretty much everyone is gonna wanna start with where your shoelaces end. That's the part that's gonna be under the bar. I'm gonna go over why we want to be that distance away from the bar in just a second, okay? So we've got our distance away from the bar, we've got our stance. Now we're gonna talk about grip type, okay? So we have 2 different grips that we can use. One is gonna be double overhand, where our palms are facing our body. And then we're gonna the second grip is a mixed grip. So we're gonna have one hand that's underhand, facing away from you, and then one hand that is facing your body. Typically, the hand that's gonna be underhand is gonna be your non-dominant hand. So I'm left-handed, so my right hand is gonna be the hand that's underhand. Now, grip width, typically we're gonna want our hands directly underneath our shoulders, okay? This is gonna be the shortest range of motion, so it's gonna be the most efficient grip. It's gonna allow us to use the most weight. This is also gonna put us just in the best position to lift the weight, right? This is gonna be a lot stronger than if we're all the way out here. It's gonna be really hard on our upper back, really hard to stay locked in and not round over. Obviously, we don't wanna be in this position when we deadlift. That's not good. So now we've got our stance width, our distance from the bar, grip type, and our grip width, okay? So we've got our setup down, we're up to the bar. Now we're gonna talk about creating tension and wedging or getting as close to the bar as possible, okay? So once we've got our hands on the bar and we've got our stance set, The first thing we're gonna do is keep our hips high and our arms long, okay? So we do not want to be here with our arms bent and our hips really low to the ground. Once we're in this position, we've got got a good stretch in our hamstrings. We're gonna do what's called wedging. So we're gonna pull the slack out of the bar. All you have to do to pull the slack out of the bar is once we have our hands on, you're going to hear that click in the bar. So you're gonna pull with the upper body while keeping the arms long, slack, and now we're going to wedge into the bar. And when I say wedge, we're bringing our hips as close to the bar as possible while keeping them high. So a very common mistake that you'll see with deadlifts is people will pull the slack out and then they dip their hips way down low. This is turning the movement into a squat when it should be a hinge, right? So what you should be doing, instead of coming down with the hips, we're trying to get the hips as close to the bar as possible. Now, if you have a lot of tension, you'll notice that if it's a light enough weight for you, when you wedge, the bar will actually elevate itself off the ground, okay? So if this was heavy enough, it would stay. If it's light, it might actually come off the ground because you're creating so much tension. So you should be extremely tight from head to toe throughout your entire body, okay? So once we've done all that, we've got our stance, grip, we've pulled the slack out, we've created some tension. We're gonna pull the slack out, now we're gonna engage the upper body. We're gonna cover the armpits or do what I call packing the lats, okay? So we're gonna think about pushing the shoulders down and back, covering the armpit with that upper arm, okay? Once we've done this, all we have to do is push the floor away from us, okay? So going step by step, hands at the bar, hips high, pull the slack out, cover the armpits, pushing the bar away from us. Now on the eccentric, the downward portion of the lift, all we're doing is the same thing, but going backwards. We're keeping that bar as close to us as possible. You'll notice that the bar never leaves my leg, so I'm not letting it drift. Whole time it's in contact with either my thigh or my shin, putting as much force into the ground as possible as I pull the bar up. All right, that is how you do the deadlift, as well as why as golfers we should be doing them. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.